Okay, sorry about all the noise. I'm gonna try to go over here. It's like 80 degrees in the house and it's almost midnight. It's hot outside today. Um, so all that noise is just fans going. So, quick little book update. Writing in general. I haven't. I. So my writing has been a bit scattered lately. Like I had a good run there of like going to the library all the time, mostly every day, like 4 or 5 times a week, going to the library, getting some good writing, like 2.5 hours worth of writing, which is a lot. Usually, I used to always be like an hour at a time kind of writer, but now I try to get as much as I can, but my brain just eventually starts to cave in. But then I hit a bit of a dry spot where I wasn't going to the library. I was trying to transition and write at home more down in the basement. That little what was my office now it's just a shed with a table, um, and that went okay for a couple of days. It just still doesn't feel right. It doesn't it doesn't feel like that's where I need to be going to write. I feel like I need to write at the library because I still can't fully disconnect while in the basement. Something about it. The library is my writing place. It just sucks because it's only like a 5 minute drive. So obviously that's not bad. I'm not complaining about the distance I have to drive. It's just the additional consumption of gas and the additional consumption of time. Because whatever, it's an extra 10 minutes of driving a day, which isn't a lot, but that adds up. It does add up over a course of a week. That's an extra, say, 50 or 60 minutes. It's like an extra almost hour of driving a week just going back and forth to the library. So it does add up. But while I'm at the library, I'm getting some good stuff done. I kept like bouncing back and forth between a couple of chapters where I was like making good progress here, but I need to jump ahead to make sure I'm going where I need to be going, or I had an idea that needs to be inserted in the chapter ahead of where I am right now, so I have to go up there to make sure I put it in there, and then that way when I get there, I'm not too caught up in what I'm doing and forget to get these notes and get whatever have you. And then as I'm doing this, like, oh, I have to go back because now I just realized I have to do this whole thing, so I have to go back 2 chapters to figure out. There's just been a lot of like random things I'll think of and go in my notes that are not exactly passive ideas, but they're like pretty important. So I have to then spend an entire writing session just going through the notes on my phone and injecting all those little pieces into wherever they need to go, like lines of dialogue or like a quick interaction. I have to go find the spot, then I have to go put it in there, then I have to check before and after the spot that I inserted to make sure that everything's still flowing as it should, to make sure it's not too wordy or out of place, or make sure that the characters are like you can't have the main character being angry the sentence before and then have them just be making this comment that I thought of later. So I have to make sure that the whole thing just flows and is consistent, which isn't a lot. It's not difficult, I'm saying. It's just extra work. Um, and now that I have my PC has been down with a broken power supply unit, now that for about 3 weeks, and I did do writing at the library at a pretty normal pace, normal frequency, I should say. But now that it's back up, um, I'm not gonna let that change. I'm not gonna let myself get too caught up in doing stuff there. But it's just right now it's a little hard to find the motivation, because I feel like because a lot of the writing I'm doing right now isn't very poetic writing. Because like one of my favorite things about writing is from just a human perspective on the environment, the feelings and the sentiment of the environment, and how the environment is in and of itself a character, and how that meshes with our character's perspective and their mental state. I enjoy being in that, where like the main character is like in like a depressed but mildly optimistic mood and just kind of sitting there ruminating in their thoughts in like a dark bedroom, looking over, seeing the clock ticking away, looking to the other side, trying to like look at a framed photo and see if they can make out the image from where they are in the dark, and just like those human moments of reflection or absent mindedness. I like writing that. But with the characters I'm writing right now, we don't really have much of that. It's not, these characters aren't sitting in that. Like they have moments of it, but it's not as deep. Um, and instead, that's kind of been replaced by a lot of like character and environmental descriptions, talking about what a character is wearing, and or talking about the scenery that they're occupying. One thing I'm trying to figure out a balance of is not just describing, say, what a character is wearing or how they look, but also trying to incorporate that with like um, direct comparisons to other things. Like, say, instead of describing a character or like a creature's face in a certain way, you can kind of summarize by saying they have bat-like features or something like that. But a lot of times it's like the frame of reference for a character is from personal observation and experience. So when you had the regular ass human characters in, like, say, book one, let's say Kim, Kim from book one, she'd be describing something and then make a comparison or noting the similarities between what she's describing and something she knows of. Like, let's, for a random example, just like, oh, the carpet was pink, but not quite pink, a little bit more purple, kind of like the same shade as, say, Barney the dinosaur or something like that. Just that didn't happen, but just, you know what I mean. Just like making that kind of like comparison from the character's knowledge and experience and observations. The characters I'm writing right now kind of have that, but it doesn't feel right to have our character who we're viewing the story through, experiencing the story through, say those kinds of things because just how the character is, or not really say, we use those things as the character's observational notes because it doesn't feel like our character would really make that connection. Our character's a lot more just straightforward, clean cut, just like, yep, blue tunic, fucking scars on the face, whatever. Just very surface level observation because they're not having a difficult time understanding or rationalizing what they're seeing, in the same way a person would. When a person sees something, they, when a regular human, we notate the outfit and what it reminds us of because that's how we're remembering it, that's how we're trying to attribute it to things personally and identify with it. Same thing with character, like a person's physical traits and stuff like that. Whereas this character is just like, I don't fucking give a shit. I don't care what you're wearing. It's not going to matter to me one way or the other unless it's something that really stands out. But even if it does stand out, they're just noting that it stands out and not making a comparison, not trying to commit it to memory in a way that matters from the human perspective, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's difficult trying to explain it. But yeah, so I'm a little bit past 300 pages right now. And I'm getting into part 3 of the book. So it's basically going to be 3 parts and then a multi-chapter length epilogue, like a long epilogue. Think like Return of the King, like multiple epilogues in one kind of thing. If that makes sense, I don't know. Other than that, now that I have my PC back, it's basically like when I just need to like get a little bit of money because I need to set aside money that I don't need right now to get the next wave of the trading card game printed because I've done a lot of work between the last printing and this printing, like redesigned the fighters and the ally cards, redesigned the text and classification of counter cards. I've done a whole lot of work. The game has changed a lot. I've removed the defender zone. I changed the game board. Like, I did a whole lot of stuff. And this next wave of cards, I'm ready to print, at least for more gameplay testing. But I need to get 2 of each card, essentially, and then 1 game board so I can make some decks and have the new game board. And it's going to cost me like $160, but I don't want to drop that right now, obviously. So, I'm not really working on that, but it's something that's in the back of my mind. I think that's really it. And I'm I don't know, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be. This might. It's gonna be. The next section of the book that I'm writing is going to be equally as complicated as straightforward. Because we are gonna get into the part right now where we have some exposition and a lot of characters declaring their motivations, um, and histories a little bit. A lot of light is gonna get shed on what's going on and what has been going on. But I don't think it's going to be that difficult because we've already experienced these characters and we've already had interactions with them and we've already learned about them by proxy through other characters. So I don't think it's going to be as intense as I think it will be. But then we get into some really like crawling through mud, like thick ass fucking mud. I'm Artax. Is it Artax in Neverending Story? Is that the horse's name? I don't know. That's gonna be me when I get to this section after this next section. 2 sections from now. Ugh, God. And then I get to start over and go through it again. And make sure everything's as poetic as I want it to be. Really get in deep with the fucking details and the grit and refine characters' dialogue. And instead of saying this character sighed, find a better way to say that they're sighing or showing a sigh without writing sigh. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that where it's just like me giving dialogue tags and tone tags and stuff like that, and there being too many, so it's when I go through and make sure that flows better, or replacing what a character it said, like said angrily or something, like replacing that with body language and mannerisms that then evoke that in the reader, not evoke, that then quietly describe that to the reader. My nose is drippy. But anyway, I'm rambling now, so that's about it.